We're live for the Spinnin Backfist MMA show, October 25th. Today is Tuesday. We're going to recap UFC 280. We're going to answer some questions for the chat. Apologies for not having a show last week. I had some personal stuff going on, so couldn't do that. Hopefully you tuned into the Twitter Spaces, though, because the boys did a little Twitter Space event. Amazing card on paper we had, UFC 280. I don't know if it lived up to all the hype it had because the prelims were a little lackluster. Obviously, one of the fights on the main card was like an injury fight, which was weird. But overall, I think this is a pretty damn great card.
Yeah, speaking of, obviously, I didn't get to watch it live. I was in LSU. I was working. I did watch the whole thing back a few times. Main card was great.
Yeah.
Main card was great. Honestly, someone that wasn't on the main card, I think deserves a lot of credit and a big shout out was Bilal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll speak for myself. I guess I've doubted him time. I didn't really have a feel in the fight. This one, I didn't bet either side or anything, but I mean, he just keeps delivering. And this time, it wasn't a boring fight either.
First knockout since 2016.
He's someone who I think deserves a ton of credit, who I think myself, and I know other people have too, have kind of just like not given him the respect he probably deserves. Who said he was a boring fighter. I mean, he just keeps winning. He just keeps winning and winning and winning. I think he deserves like either if Edwards winning probably hurt him getting the title shot like next, obviously, but I mean, he deserves like a Colby or like a Hamzat or somebody. Like he deserves a massive fight like that. He deserves to be without question, in my opinion, one fight away from the belt.
I agree. Did you see Tai Tuivasa's video of him going up to Bilal and Leon after the fight?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God, it was so funny. So Tai Tuivasa, drunk as hell, runs into both of them, standing next to each other, like leaving the arena. And he's like, "Hey, Bilal, didn't you call out Leon? Didn't you say Leon?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, yeah." And he goes into Leon's face. He's like, "Leon, we want to see it. Give it us on pay-per-view." It was so funny. But I agree with that. He's got to be one fight away from a title. Him getting the knockout, especially, coach could be Bilal.
Like think about who, like his resume that he's ran through right now is very impressive.
Yeah, the Leon Edwards fight is still in there though. But
he didn't lose it though.
He didn't lose, but he's gonna, right? Like,
I mean, probably. But we're talking about the champ.
Yeah,
but it was the first round.
Mm-hmm. Was it the first?
Yes,
yeah.
It was.
Leon was.
He was winning, but I don't.
Winning, but it was one round.
Yeah, it was like 3 minutes in the fight. Like I think there wasn't quite enough to. And I mean, his striking keeps looking better. I mean, he was winning the striking with Luke. He just won the striking with Sean Brady, like who's obviously not known for like his striking per se, but these are like really good wins, like back to back that I think.
And to back up what you said about the first round, like he kind of, I would say I had him down after the first round against Brady. So he turned it around against Brady, and then he had 5 rounds in against Leon. And if he did, because it was the main event of that fight night card, and then on top of it, his cardio looks phenomenal. He just continues to run through these guys.
You're not saying second round. Was it second round? Maybe I'm wrong. I'll check real quick.
Longer to me, but I obviously I don't have like the fight memory that you guys have. I feel like fights in one ear out the other for me.
I remember after it was
18 seconds in the second round.
Okay, so
it was
fair second round, but it was around but even look at this, like what he's done since then. So he's, besides that fight, because obviously that was a no contest, he lost to Jeff Neal in 2019. Since then he's beaten Curtis Millender, Takashi Soto, Lyman Good, Damian Maia, Wonder Boy, Luke, and Sean Brady.
Yeah, that's a really good run.
Like that's a run.
He stays active.
That's a run in welterweight. That's a hell of a run. He deserves like a top 5.
There was not a viral tweet, but there was one with like about 350 likes or so that I saw yesterday. I quote tweeted it with a lot of laughing emojis, but somebody said Bilal against Colby, Bilal would run through Colby.
I don't know if he would run through him.
Run through strong.
Yeah, that's very strong.
I think he might get a good scrap though. I don't know. I think Colby would be the favorite
in this fight against Brady. I was thinking like Bilal versus Colby would be interesting because Bilal kind of has that like interesting volume style when it comes to stand up, where it's like he might not like hit you with the biggest shot and knock you out cold, but he'll fucking pitter patter your face into oblivion.
And Jesse Adams' point, I was underwhelmed by the card.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough not to be when there's such high expectations.
Everyone said card of the year, and obviously it didn't feel like that. I felt like Singapore when we left that card, the first UFC London card of the year. When we left that card, we were like, "Holy shit!" blown away. This was like a very good card, but there were little moments. Like a lot of the prelims were pretty forgettable. I thought.
Yeah, and then the Gamrot Dariush fight was forgettable.
I thought that was a good fight.
Yeah,
I actually liked that fight.
Dariush, I thought was very impressive.
Like the scrambles in that fight were very fun to watch.
That was. I think people like slept on Dariush's grappling.
Yeah,
and that's why Gamrot was not able to hold him down at all.
I definitely thought Gamrot was going to win that.
I think Dariush's weight after watching this fight. I didn't have a pick on the fight either. Like I didn't bet the Dariush fight, but I think after watching the fight, I think Dariush is very underrated.
Talk about
even more so than people probably already thought that, but people were thinking Gamrot is a potential next title challenger at some point in the relative near future. I mean, Dariush was better than him everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere.
Let's do Dariush Oliveira in Brazil.
I think that sounds great.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great fight.
You got
Also, shout out Dariush. Not shout out. This is up to your own opinion, but big balls to go on the mic in Abu Dhabi and shout out Christianity.
Oh yeah.
That was a big moment.
I didn't even think about that in real time.
Like that's a big time. He could have a fatwa put out on him.
And I immediately thought of the Coach Kavanaugh quote, of course. Jesus loves knockouts.
I thought of America. What happened to you? But
someone asked about the stoppage in the Bilal fight too.
I
thought it was fine.
I thought it was fine.
Yeah, it was like one of those things. You like it's like obviously you want Bilal, you mentioned Bilal's not that crazy one punch knockout puncher, but I mean he was just beating the shit.
Dropped his hands with the last punch too. I felt like
Brady
he stopped defending himself.
Brady had no. Brady was getting mauled. He was getting absolutely mauled.
I get there were only a couple seconds left in the round too, but I was completely when they stopped it. I didn't even think.
Because I just saw there was a TKO. Then I watched it back and I was like, that stoppage is fine.
I was waiting.
He was getting blasted on the feet against the cage. He wasn't responding really at all.
He didn't even shoot at any point.
No, he just was a punching bag,
just eating.
I had over 2.5 in a few parlays, so I was kind of bummed. But looking back on it, you have to call it is what it is.
Yeah.
Now for the biggest discussion point of the card,
O'Malley and Yan. You want to get right to that? Let's get right to that. This was an awesome fight. Let me say that first of all.
Yeah.
Awesome fight, one that I tweeted proved to me more than anything, O'Malley belongs. Whether you liked the scorecards, whether you didn't.
Okay.
He went and gave Yan a fucking fight, like a fight that a lot of people didn't think he was going to give him. In the moment, I definitely felt like Yan won the fight. Like when the scorecards get read and they say so-and-so has it 29-28 O'Malley, I was like, holy shit, this is a split decision. Someone gave it to O'Malley. Kind of got excited because obviously I'm rooting for O'Malley. I like him, friend of Barstool. And when I gave it to him, I was stunned. The more you think about it, when you watch it back, I've seen many people tweet actually that they watched it back and recorrected their scores and try to update on MMAdecisions.com and everything. I could definitely see the fight rounds 1 and 3 for Sean O'Malley.
You want to go first, Jack? You want me to go? You got to watch it live, so I think you go first. You watched it live.
Live, I didn't even think it was a possibility.
Yeah,
that there was going to be a split. I watched it back too. My thing with the watch back thing is that's not how you score fights.
Yeah, you're watching it for someone in that way. Yeah.
Now it's hard. That being said, I thought it was a mess. I had the same reaction as Habib. Habib's reaction was
very funny.
Which was very funny. He's like, I had all 3 rounds for him, brother.
How does this happen?
Now, that being said, in the time, I thought every round was close and O'Malley put up a great fight. O'Malley's reaction was my reaction, which was he was like, man, I thought I lost. But then again, the thing is, for me, I lost money on it, whatever. But O'Malley winning there, and I'm not saying conspiracy theory or anything. That's good for the sport. Yep. I think it's good for O'Malley there were so many tweets about that from people. People were so excited about it. So that's great for the sport, at least in my opinion. It's also took away that followed by Dillashaw, and then hearing that Dillashaw popped his shoulder out for 2 times. I wasn't even hyped up going into Islam Oliveira.
The Dillashaw fight, honestly, didn't even feel like a fight to me.
It was
in a weird way.
Aljo really did.
Right away, you could tell his shoulder was fucked. It was popped out on one of the first exchanges, and the commentators noticed it right away. That was the talking
And
point
they
of the
were
fight the whole
talking
time.
about right away. Actually, let's talk about Jan O'Malley.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So obviously, like I said, I did not get to watch it live, so I guess I'll take a grain of salt if my vision going into watching the fight was tainted at all or anything. No,
because you knew the result.
Because I knew the result, obviously, so it was hard to like. But I did try to come in with an open mind. I had obviously that time I had no skin in the game. I had no money on it. As much as I am an O'Malley fan, I'm not like a Jan hater. I actually really like Jan. I feel like it's kind of unfortunate that he's had like these split decision losses. That's really tough. That's just tough to have those like back to back like that. When I watched I'll go around, but the first round I thought was really close. I kind of like thought O'Malley even could have like won. I thought he landed more strikes where Jan's were more like leg kicks. I thought O'Malley landed more like punches to the face. And looked like very clean and crisp. I thought round one basically the way like I thought round one was a coin flip. I leaned O'Malley. Round two I thought was very decisive for Jan, even though like O'Malley had some big moments, like he rocked him, but then he also got rocked. I thought Jan clearly won the second round, though, even though they both did probably the most damage to each other in that round. Then, or maybe you could, round three was an absolute war. Actually, you could say round three. Round three was a war.
Great.
Round three was an insane war. I like thought you could lean, like this is where I get, because I don't want to, because part of me thinks like Jan probably should have won, but it's just weird the way MMA judging is like it's round by round where like if you did like what is it Risen or which one does the all three Pride
like Pride was
or one is it that does like they just do the whole fight.
The third round like weighed more.
Like whichever one is like if you just did the whole fight, Jan won. But if you did like that's where it goes where it's like the round two so decisive for Jan, and then there's two coin flip rounds, and you can give O'Malley like 1 and 3. I was so surprised watching it back, the way it seemed like a unanimous robbery because I didn't see it that way. I thought Jan probably should have won, but I did not think it was a robbery. I thought rounds 1 and 3 were close enough. I thought O'Malley looked really good in round 1. I thought he looked great in round 3. Like he lands the big knee, hurts him. Yep. Landed some other big punches. I didn't think Jan's takedowns were like very, they weren't nothing, but I didn't think they were like super important. Like
O'Malley did a great job.
Yeah, like he was defending them very well. He was getting up pretty quickly. Jan never really landed any crazy like ground and pound. I felt maybe like 1 or 2 shots with the whole fight ground and pound, but nothing like super significant. And even I thought it even showed you like, especially the third round, like O'Malley was piecing up on the feet, and Jan was like not panic shooting, but Jan was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and like going for takedowns. Like if he just stood there, I thought like he would have definitely like clearly lost the third round.
It's nice to me, at least as an O'Malley fan, that this fight really does set aside the hype train talk for me, where it's like he's not a hype train. He's definitely one of the best bantamweights in the world.
No doubt. No, he proved himself that he like belongs in that group. Now, like looking forward past this is the weird thing where I don't think he should get the title shot next. What I think they should do is I think 2 things. Either him and Jan run it back 5 rounds, or him and Cheeto run it back 5 rounds.
I was thinking that.
And then basically either or is like no matter what happens, the winner of that fight is fighting for the belt next.
This would be a
I think that's fair. I think it's reasonable. Cheeto's on an incredible run.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he beat O'Malley, like he deserves that, like at least to get the fight O'Malley for that shot. Or like you just run back Jan because I think everyone saw how great the fight is. I don't see how it could be like a bad fight again. So, I mean, I think you do those 2. And also for the UFC's mindset, I think that works. I think it's just, and it also works because I think Aljo's a bad matchup for Sugar. And I don't think they want that.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of
same with Merab.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the only thing is, although the Merab one would be interesting because I think maybe even it could surprise against Aljo, even though I do think Aljo would be able to take him down and hold him down better. Merab is just Aljo. I'm saying Merab I think could potentially get pieced up on the feet.
Yeah.
By Sugar, but he could have some success with wrestling, no doubt about it.
One thing that I thought this fight answered, and it was something we were talking about on the space before when we had Andrew Gonzalez on. He was great. Lee was literally at his practice walkthrough.
Oh, really?
He kept trying to talk, but the wind. It's whatever. It was funny. All that being said, we were talking about O'Malley and his legs, and I was saying, do we think that maybe Cheeto just happened to hit the right spot and it just fucked up his leg? It's not that he's soft, or it's not like he has leg issues or anything. And we both talked about it a little bit, and like that's a possibility. This proved to me that Sugar Sean is a tough motherfucker.
Yeah,
throwing those in.
The chin. No, he never got hit before. He showed he's got a chin.
It showed, and to take the hits that he took from Jan, the takedown defense and whatnot, I completely agree with the point you had. The hype train it's no longer a hype train. He got off the hype train, and now he's there. Contender. He's a massive contender. Obviously, he's I think first in the contender rankings now, right?
No, yeah,
he will. He technically will be. Beat number one, you get the spot. That's usually how it goes.
I loved Tim Welch's cornering in the fight too. He was so like bro-y. He was like, "Come on, dude, you're gonna go fuck him up, bro. You're the best. You're the fucking best in the world."
Actually, I don't know if you noticed at one point he like slipped up his words and he was like he's too fast for you.
Yes, he did say that.
He meant to say you're too fast. Say that. But he said he didn't say he's too fast.
He did say that. We were in the cave watching. I was like, wait a second, what?
I saw looking back, I started dying laughing.
Knew what he meant,
I was like, you knew exactly, and Sugar didn't even react. He was like, he knew what he meant too, but
it'd be all time if Sugar did react. It'd be
such
a good gift.
He's not, dude. I'm way faster. Which honestly, with hands, I thought Sugar was faster.
Yeah, Sugar had.
I thought, so dude, he looked good, man. Like in that, he looked really, really good. I agree with everything Jackson. Like now, Sugar's at a spot where, like, no more unranked guys. It is like top 5. Like that's it. Like that's it. That's all you're fighting, basically until your career is probably over. Yeah. Unless some new exciting contender comes up. Literally, that's it. Like that, which we don't know about yet. But
he's so established. Does he even have to fight the contender unless they have like a rivalry that comes out?
Exactly. No, agreed. Like he's only fighting like the top guys. And also another wrench that got thrown into it. Not that matters so much for this fight, but so Cheeto said that they were offered the Sandhagen fight, and but it was early November, and Sandhagen said no.
Okay,
but I do want to give Sandhagen. He literally fought September 17th.
Yeah, against
in a pretty like tough fight.
That was full 5 rounds, almost 5 rounds.
I don't want to like poo Sandhagen for like dismissing that fight when he, like basically trying to take a fight against Cheeto Vera like a month and a half later. So I think that's the one. I think Sandhagen's a tough guy. I respect Sandhagen.
Cheeto, when he said that though, it seemed like Cheeto was like down to accept.
But he fought a month before that.
Cheeto,
I think Cheeto. It sounded like he would have said yes.
Yeah, that's.
Because I think then he would have been just like undeniable for the next title shot if he beat Sandhagen. But
and also O'Malley, from a business perspective, will be able to headline pay-per-view cards. I think tomorrow.
Yes,
100%.
He's one of the most sellable guys.
On O'Malley, Big Daddy Trent. It's his favorite MMA fighter.
He was tweeting about him.
He texted me like, "When's the O'Malley fight?" And nobody was more happy with that decision than Trent. He texted me, "Oh my god, I cannot believe I just won my bet." He was so happy.
Sugar, shout out Trent. Sugar's. I mean, I was really hyped for him. Jan, he's still going to be around forever.
He should literally be like number 2.
Yeah.
If they
don't run it back, what do they do with Jan?
Give him like that's because he already fought Sandhagen. Give him like
puts him in a weird spot.
Maybe I think almost TJ should be like done. Maybe
so
TJ.
Do I. We got
like
that
maybe
question
like,
in the chat from Eric. Do you think TJ should retire?
I kind of think so. I kind of think so. Because he's somebody
who
shoulders
he can't stop re-injuring.
And I don't know how many times like we can't just keep giving him title shots. And someone like him who's been a champion twice and is in his late 30s, like how much do you want to keep fighting if you don't think a belt is like in your future?
Yeah.
He has
came off to me like
he has the successful businesses and whatever. Like I don't
juice. Shout out Clean
Juice.
His talk after this fight.
Oh, Jan versus Merab would make sense.
That'd be a great fight.
Jan versus Merab would make a lot of sense.
Jan versus
Merab would make a lot of sense.
Or Ryan, this is from Ryan Quill. Jan versus Merab or Song. I think Song would be a great fight too.
Yeah. I think it's just that he came off the loss. I don't think Jan would go that down in the rankings like that twice in a row.
I see what you're saying.
He's gonna go down the rankings, but not like 11 and then like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Like I think he's got to be in the top like 5.
TJ after his fight, when he apologized to the division, was like, "Listen, I'm sorry, but like I wasn't gonna throw this away or whatever." Came off to me like he knew that was his last title shot. Like, he accepted the fight because he's like, "There's no way I'm getting this again." Should he have accepted the fight? Definitely not. Like that was like a waste of a fight. I felt like it was like chalk that up to a fucking mulligan or whatever.
I mean, I'll not to toot my horn. I've been saying for like months, like I don't think he deserved it in the first place.
No, yeah.
He lost. He won a controversial decision.
He got it because of Aljo's call.
He won He won a very controversial decision to Sandhagen in a fight I personally think he lost. And then we've seen Sandhagen go lose to Jan since then, which good fight. Like he fought well against Jan, but Jan clearly won.
And Sandhagen has fought Aljo, but Aljo got him in that choke really early. We would like to see another. I was really disappointed. I've thought about TJ a lot. There's two sides to the coin, right? These guys are fighters. They want to fight. They have family to feed. You've been training. This is his last shot to get a title shot. I get that side of the coin, but he shouldn't have fought, at least in my opinion. What happened there was it was like kind of a disservice to UFC fans, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, agreed.
That fight I was really excited for because I like TJ from a fighter's perspective, and I think he's a great villain and whatnot. But he just went out there, and it wasn't like, oh, this happened once in camp.
He's like, and then he said the ref about it,
and then they said he wasn't hitting mitts before the fight,
and then do his open workouts.
That's crazy. That's
DC
crazy.
And DC and Anik were talking. They were like, yeah, in the fighters' interviews before the fight, like that in that week, he was just kind of moping around. He was just like, oh yeah, we're just here. We're trying to get this victory. They said they felt no confidence from him.
That's like a disservice to the fans. Like, you're walking into a fight, you're about to lose.
And he said it came out 20 times during camp. Cub Swanson responded to a MMA Mania, I think, tweet saying, yeah, I trained with him like 6 weeks ago, and it kept coming out. It wasn't Aljo who did it. If it was happening for 6 weeks, go get it repaired, get a replacement, and then if they give you this shot, theoretically, you would get a shot in 2023, which 38 to 39 isn't that big of a difference. Now he has another loss. He has to climb back up the division. Who knows if he wants to do that? It was disappointing. It kind of ruined the card for me. Not 100%. I get why you fight. These guys are fighters. They think, even if I have a 1% chance, I'm going to pull it out. Also, I do want to say Aljo, I mean, he wasn't fighting a guy with one arm, but he did look.
He looked great.
He looked great.
If I thought Aljo was going to come out flat, he didn't. I was completely wrong.
Honestly, you saying the 6 weeks thing almost annoys me because you know who would have taken that fight on 6 weeks' notice?
Who?
Cheeto.
Yeah.
No doubt.
He would have taken it in 2 weeks.
And is incredibly deserving of the title shot. So
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, Cub Swanson tweeted, because Cub Swanson obviously was training for his fight 2 weeks ago. Yeah. He was training with TJ, and he said, no, Aljo, you didn't cause that injury. I was training with TJ 6 weeks ago, and his shoulder was popping out.
Crazy that it didn't leak more in terms of the betting line and
nobody heard anything. There was a lot of love for TJ before the fight from a betting perspective as well,
which I also never saw. I feel like a completely healthy TJ. I think Aljo does the same exact thing.
Yeah, I picked TJ before the fight. I didn't bet on it, but when we went over, I picked Aljo.
Yeah, Aljo. I was gonna say, yeah.
It just leaves such a. I get that it's hard to pull out of a fight, but it leaves such a not that TJ has some great reputation in the MMA community, but now it's just kind of I don't know. It was so disappointing, but it is what it is. He went out there, he tried it. It didn't work. It seemed as if once it came out, DC and Anik immediately oh yeah. They made it seem like we all knew.
There it is.
Come out.
Yeah. That happens. Yeah.
Kareem in the chat, probably not Barstool Kareem, wants to know what we think about Henry Cejudo getting the next title shot. This was actually brought up by Dana in the post-fight press release.
So
he's in USADA?
He is.
So honestly, with the way the Jan O'Malley fight went, I actually think it makes sense now.
Kind of does.
Because I think you're in this weird spot where people think O'Malley lost him. I think he's I totally deserve it. And that's why I think he gained the respect. But I think now that you give him Jan 2 or you give him Cheeto 2 and you let him go earn it, really earn it.
Yeah. And
then and Cejudo, and the fact there's no Merab's obviously not there. They don't think they still think Cheeto's one away, or obviously you can just report it with or him fighting O'Malley again. Just makes sense from what happened the first time. There's already that beef there and everything. Cejudo would be a good fit, a good matchup to throw it out.
Is this real?
The chat's telling us Henry does have the next title shot in February that is being reported. Are we being messed with?
He may be. He may be. I'm gonna look up. I'm going to Ariel's Twitter.
Ariel said they're looking at Cejudo versus Aljo for the Perth
283
show.
in Perth, which makes sense. I mean, they're basically already saying it's Islam Volkanovski.
Yeah.
That card.
The UFC would like Aljamain Sterling to defend the bantamweight title against the returning Henry Cejudo at UFC 284 in Perth, Australia.
That
February
honestly
12th.
makes a lot of sense.
Per Ariel,
It's a good fight.
Aljo took no damage. He could fight again in a few months.
Per Ariel,
Jedi Goodman has the clip. Shout out Jedi Goodman. That guy's great.
That guy
he
clips everything.
Yeah,
my day in interviews. Always asks for permission too, which is nice. I'm like, dude, this helps me. Put it out there.
No, honestly, with this circumstance, I think it makes a ton of sense.
Cheeto Sean Coleman under. You think Sean Sugar can fight in February?
It is only
so.
October.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that is a while.
And that,
December.
you could get Ilya Taporia Patty vibes with those two on the same card.
Yeah.
Which Patty and Ilya Taporia are going to be on the same card again.
Cejudo Aljo would be such an interesting fight, but talk about just a cringe match. That's just like both the lead up between the two. There's gonna be some great cringe
the King
moments.
Of cringe truly has that nickname for a reason. I saw a YouTube compilation of Henry Cejudo trash talk the other day, and I don't know why I did it, but I clicked on it, and I did not last the whole video. I had to click out because I was
the one after
that's true cringe.
Yeah.
Whoever made that video did his job.
They did a good job.
Dude, the one even when he came and shit talked to O'Malley after the Munoz fight.
That was so
awkward.
What
did he say to him again? He was like,
you're a little twerp or something.
No, it wasn't even good as that. Like he said something really weird. Like O'Malley was like, okay, bro.
Like, he was like, are you in the USADA pool?
Yeah,
coming back?
Yeah.
What did he say? He said something so weird.
He was behind him.
Oh no, and then Nelk Boys called him a pussy or something.
Yeah, and then O'Malley turned around and was like, wait, can you fight? I think he was like,
can you even fight?
Can you even fight? He was like, would you make weight? I'm gonna get that clip.
Cejudo really.
No, because remember they had like the office where they pulled it was like David Figueiredo. Figueiredo was like, huh?
It was like a clip from The Office. Whoever shot that did a great job.
Oh my god,
hysterical clip. And then the main event we could also talk about. Obviously, a pretty dominant one. Honestly, like Islam Makhachev did not have much trouble winning this one.
Yeah. What's this guy's name again? Steve will do it. He called Cejudo a bitch.
Yeah. He's like, you're a little bitch as he was walking away.
Steve will do it against Cejudo.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I saw Cejudo in Hoboken.
Oh yeah. I remember you telling me
I was
a short little guy walking.
I was having lunch with my cousin and like literally he just walked by like that's Henry Cejudo. Just like a jacked, really small guy.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
How long ago was that? Was he still fighting?
That was probably like
right after he retired, maybe
2 years ago, like a year and a half at least. I think it was like might have been like honestly, I think it was like a few months after retirement.
Makes sense.
Maybe probably
living it up in
it was
Hoboken,
I believe it was probably a few months after.
He said to Sean, he was like, "Hey, you want a match? How about me right here? What do you say, precious?"
Ugh. Like, huh? I'd be like, bro, I just fought.
Yeah, like, bro, I'm still sweating from my fight,
years.
dude. Yeah. That was Dana had a couple of those in the post fight, which he always says, he doesn't make fights the night of the fight. But some guy was like, what do we do next for so-and-so? And he's like, I don't know. What do you think I should do next? And the guy was like, I don't know. He's like, so you don't give a shit and you're asking me? You don't even give a shit? But Dana immediately went off on him. I thought that was funny.
Sugar just like after Cejudo was talking, he was just turning the interview. He was like, this guy's crazy. No one takes him serious. It's just like that little kid at like in high school. You're like, oh yeah, there's that kid again.
Like, all right, man.
With their body types too, I feel like Shogun could literally do the hand on the head, and Cejudo just swings at his body.
Yeah, it's like
literally 5'4" versus 5'11".
Yeah. In the main event, like we mentioned, dominant win for Islam Makhachev. He did everything Khabib said he was going to do, and gave the title to Khabib afterwards. Pretty nice moment. He was like, "This is for you. This is for your father." Hezbollah was in the cage immediately on Instagram Live.
What right away?
The reaction video of him was great too.
It's great. He threw his shoe.
Throws his shoe at the desk and he's just going crazy. I gotta say, good first week of Hezbollah as a UFC employee. All of the videos that came out made me laugh.
Did you see the one? But did you hear him when Makhachev was fighting? He yelled at him at one point.
Instructions or
something. And Shane was like, I don't know.
He heard like light voice like cut through everything. It was great. I love him as a UFC employee. And people have turned on Hezbollah. I'll tell you that. If I blog a Hezbollah
people are just over him.
The comments are all, I can't believe you guys
it's once you get like too big, they want to see it fall. That's how
I love the guy still. He still makes me laugh.
I love they like cut to him. He's like,
yeah, he did the little flex.
He got the biggest pop by far.
Huge pop.
Oh yeah,
huge. And then after the main event, Hamzat got into a fight with
with
Khabib's camp and
Abubakar.
Abubakar.
But they squashed the beef.
They did. I saw that video. They made a video being like,
it looked
Hamzat's the next champion. Like
It looked like a diplomatic video.
It honestly did. Did you see the video?
No, I haven't.
beef-
It was weird.
The beef is, I think it's political because it's between Dagestan and Chechnya.
And they said we got to stop tweeting about each other.
Yes,
'Cause
yeah.
Apparently that's how it all started. I think
And-
Abubakar tweeted something first.
He had an Instagram and he was
Instagram,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, it's very funny that you go to Sweden, now you come back."
Exactly.
Now, now it's a very interesting situation because like Dagestan and Chechnya are kind of rivals, but then they're all under kind of that Russian umbrella, and now Russia is trying to force those citizens to fight with them.
Yeah.
And I think both of them are like, "No, we don't want
They're
to
like,
do it."
we're on the same side. They say in the video, Khabib says it like twice. He's like, Hamzat is the next champion, God willing. And like we squash the beef now with Islam and Hamzat. Now, 2 champions, next champion and current champion. Next champion, current champion. It's like, all right.
It did seem like it was like in the United Nations.
It was like they were going to shake hands and like take a picture like with the belt like at the end of it. It was really weird. But yeah, that was the main event, the card. Shout out Caitlin Chukagian, lost her fight, but put up a good fight.
Also, I guess if you see the video from behind of Hamzat and Abubakar getting fighting, there's a
I did
kid
see it, yeah.
in a red suit. That's the son of the Chechen leader. And a lot of people were saying if he got involved in the fight,
Kadyrov's son?
Kadyrov's son.
Oh,
And if Kadyrov's son got involved in the fight, it might have been like
World War III.
yeah. So I think Khabib was probably after it was very funny because you hear Islam on the mic talking about how happy he is that he won, like thanking God. And Hamzat and Abubakar are just throwing hands.
Yeah. They went 0 to 100 immediately. Jordan asked me if I've ever gotten asked if I have ever been told not to ask Dana about Russia, Ukraine. Never. I don't think I've ever gotten like a don't ask Dana about this. The only time I got one of those in the UFC was for Connor right before I did that little thing. And they were insistent on me not bringing up Jake Paul whatsoever.
Oh,
They were like, he does not want to even address it. He doesn't want the name being muttered within his presence. Like, do not bring up Jake Paul.
Makes
All the
sense.
people were told that before the press conference. And then before my interview, they hammer it home. But Dana I feel like if Dana truly didn't want to talk about something, he would talk about it. And then PR would just tell me to cut it afterwards,
okay.
which also hasn't happened. They've said like in things that Dana's told us around the office that stool scenes cameras have picked up. They've been like, don't put that out.
Okay.
Just like random little things though, fight announcements that haven't been made yet, stuff like that. Interview stuff, I'm never told not to ask Dana.
We have 125 in right now. I think that's a record for us. Please like the stream.
That's
subscribe.
pretty great.
Thanks
Thanks,
everybody.
Appreciate you guys.
I will say though, Islam, I was like pretty confident in him,
Yeah,
but what he showed,
it's crazy.
I think Charles was shocked too. I think by the
Yeah.
second round he was like, "What? I don't know what
He
the fuck to
looked
do."
truly devastated afterwards.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
Yeah,
But it doesn't like he climbed the mountain. He did
11
what-
fight win streak, right? 11 was that? Was
Yeah,
this up to?
yeah.
And maybe he can climb it again. But Islam, I mean, Habib told us. He
Islam
told us
looked
for
so
years.
good. He looked as good as he looked against everyone he's ever faced.
It's bad.
I
thought it was
What did you
incredible.
think I thought he looked better on the feet than
I
Charles.
thought I think what Charles is, he's gotten so like, obviously he's gotten dropped in which he did in this fight as well. He got dropped in his last few. I think he's so aggressive that's gonna happen. Like when you're just as aggressive as he's been, that's gonna happen. But I mean, Islam looked. I was like, wow. Like that was the one fight I had to leave the game at halftime to go to get on the plane. So I literally just bought it and watched like on my phone.
Okay.
Outside of Tiger Stadium, just
Did
watched,
you get good enough like
yeah,
service?
fight, like very clear. Like watched main event on my phone, and my takeaway was like, I don't know who's gonna beat Islam like ever.
Well,
That was literally like my thought. Like immediately, I was like, who at 155 is gonna beat him?
I don't know if you guys saw, Conor McGregor actually has the strategy to beat him.
Oh, that is true. No. Facts.
I don't know if you guys saw those tweets.
No, he did say.
He said he knows how to beat him already. So there's no.
And he's
big
been
deal.
working on it
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
All right, so
said
maybe it's Connor. I don't know.
He said he
but-
actually does. He's got it all mapped out. He knows how to beat him. He said it's very easy to how to beat
All
him.
right, well then well, fuck me.
His tweets had me crying laughing when he was like, I don't know, like 2 shit fighters. They're gonna do 10 buys. Like I'm gonna beat both of them so easily. Like,
What did he say? He said like these 2 rats with my
titles.
With my titles. This fight does 5 buys.
Talking about
that was
both.
funny. That was funny.
That was also awesome in the cage when Khabib, like he's fucking Islam's promoter, is like,
Yeah.
we want Alexander Volkanovski in his backyard next, and then they brought him into the cage, and Volk was immediately like he wanted to get a face off, and Cormier was like, hold on, let's be respectful, gentlemen.
I will
He
say
accepted. That was great. I love
Islam's one of the funniest guys in the UFC. I think it has a lot to do
unintentionally
because of
Yeah.
how he speaks English.
Yes.
He's very good at English, but he's like, where is this small guy? He's so short.
I don't even see him. So great.
And I love Volkanovski. We had him in. He was great. Like generally really liked him. I think he doesn't have a prayer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he proves me wrong.
I think he has a prayer.
I just don't see like listen, his hands looked so good. So good against Holloway. As good as they've ever looked. He looked like he earned the pound for pound one that day, in my opinion. No questions asked. I just like Islam just looks so good against Charles. I just don't see how he loses. How does he lose?
Do you think Volk has a better or worse shot than Oliveira?
I think after seeing the fight, maybe better, because I think maybe he'll be more like, well, he's not. Alex is aggressive. He's not.
I feel like better. I
think he's a better because he's not as aggressive as Charles, where I think his aggressiveness almost hurt him at times.
Yes.
But
because he got seriously clipped twice.
Oh yeah, big time. But I don't know. Like Islam just looks so good. It's just it's hard for me to imagine him not just like wrestling Volkanovski in a similar-ish fashion.
What's Volk gonna look like at 155 too? Like, is he gonna
massive? But Islam's massive, dude.
Yeah. Islam's so like he's a huge 155er.
There's a photo of Islam after he won where he's like celebrating his back. He's massive.
Yeah,
like he's a guy who now maybe with the circumstances, maybe he one day goes and like challenges for the double belt.
I know.
Like I think he's
because
capable
he
of that.
170.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because especially
if Usman leaves eventually.
Did you
Obviously
guys?
he doesn't currently have the belt, but I'm saying like a few years down the road, maybe he's retired and there's no more that like Khabib and Usman were friends kind of thing.
You know what we didn't see much of last week? I don't know. Maybe he was sick or something. I didn't see Ali at all during.
I didn't see me. He was. I don't
maybe
think he was
didn't
there.
go.
Maybe he didn't
go. Was it Bilal who shouted him out? Was like my manager Ali Abdelaziz. I love you, brother. And I was almost expecting them to cut to him in the crowd. I don't know why. Like they usually don't do that, but he definitely wasn't there. I don't think.
And because everybody came in, like Hasbulla came into the cage. Obviously, Habib was already in the cage.
True. He definitely would have been in the cage at the end.
And he's always in the cage. I just am. So with Islam, did you guys hear those rumors on Friday afternoon, or it was more Friday night because they waited at like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And Volk said that he got a call saying someone's struggling cutting weight right now. We need you to be ready. Do you think you'll be ready? And the thought was because Charles got there immediately that it was Islam.
Charles was good the day before, I think.
Yeah.
After they said,
and they were saying that possibly Islam. So that goes to show. And Habib always had a very hard time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the towel incident. Yeah, very hard time coming down to 155. I would assume that Islam could get up to that
Islam
170.
Bigger than Khabib.
I know.
He's taller. He's definitely taller.
Also, who made the joke about heavyweight Khabib, and Khabib just was like stone cold. Like I think it was Bilal.
Really?
He was like, oh, and like that guy, you thought he was good at 155. Like you should be wrestling like Tubby Habib at heavyweight or whatever. And they cut to Habib, and he was just like stone cold face, like didn't smile in the slightest. I was like, did he not like being fat shamed right there? Like
I don't want to. I mean, he's probably ripped out whatever he is, and obviously I have no spot to comment on anybody's weight, but he's ballooned up.
I bet he still looks ripped though.
Oh,
because
but
he
trains. Yeah. He just eats more.
Still, it's a different thing. Like, he's like just more like bulky.
One of the funniest MMA videos of the year to me is when like someone just had a camera with all the people he just like finished training.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Brother, send him back to Russia. We can't do this no more." They were just dead.
Lawrence Hackett has claimed that Colby's officially signed to fight Hamzat 5 rounds. Winner gets title shot.
Did that also break while we were on the show?
Well, so
or does Lawrence have the scoop?
Well, Dana basically said in the post-press,
said we're
making this happen, which they were saying that was going to be the March card, or they would do it in Perth.
I think Perth. I think they were saying, but Perth might now have that co-main event. Like,
I
think he was saying.
I think
he was saying that'll be the co-main event.
I think they want him in London.
Oh, that's right. Yes,
and
you're
Leon,
right.
You're right about that.
Because they were no, Jack's right because they were saying they want to make that like a super fuck you card.
Yeah.
So they did Leon Usman rematch, Colby Hamzat. That'd be an insane 2 fights.
There's a lot of tweets.
Yeah, he said
right
censored
now.
done
MMA Uncensored tweeted it was close to.
But I thought the March 18th was going to be the London.
I'm looking at a lot of Colby right now on Twitter, Colby Covington. There's a lot of tweets, but there's how like you can say like per and then you go to the person.
Yeah.
There's no purse.
We need purse. Is what we need.
Yeah, who's gassing this up?
Maybe UFC 285 on March 4th.
I don't know. Is Helwani's show Mondays? Mondays, right?
Yeah.
So it's not him.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Full Combat, which is a Twitter page, says
I
breaking.
didn't realize it's kind of perfect. We do our show on his off days. If you're a big MMA fan,
yeah, there you go.
And you like both, you don't have to miss out on any.
Yeah, there's a lot. There seems like they're saying for 285, which is
that would be that next March card.
Yeah,
which is rumored to be
the UK card,
London. But
is there
who knows?
A date on that yet, or just March?
I've seen 4th, 18th.
Yeah, there's
my favorite band is going to London.
But they were also saying they were talking about doing. But they were saying they were going to do 2 pay-per-views in March.
So maybe that's the difference.
Oh, they've done that before.
That's what they're. Yeah. I remember saying it. They've said it in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Helwani doing Monday, Tuesday this week.
Oh, so maybe it is.
No. Quill's right. What Quill just said, I believe, is correct. 285 was Vegas and 286 was London. I believe that's correct.
Or Wales.
I believe what he just said.
I think they're saying that Colby is 285 Vegas and then 286 will be London.
But see, that's what. But
Colby Hamza would be disgusting.
But Dana did say in the presser that they wanted to do potentially that as the co-main in London.
Okay.
Or in the UK.
He did, yeah, because Mac Life reported it.
Because no, he was saying we want to bring like a fuck you, insane card back to the UK.
Hopefully, Paddy the Baddy. We just saw this past week. We haven't even talked about it. Paddy the Baddy's got a fight. He's officially on UFC 282. Jared Gordon. I think it's a good matchup for him. Jared Gordon's got 3 times in his career where someone slapped in a rear naked choke on that guy. And I think this has rear naked choke written all over.
I think that's a really good. Jared Gordon's very good. That's a good fight. And also that's
a good win. Like if Paddy gets a win over him,
that's a respectable win for sure.
He's a UFC vet. I think he's been with the company since like 2017. Fought a lot of good talent.
Wins
fought Oliveira. Got knocked out by him, but fought him.
And also that Thug Nasty and Zapori on that card as well. Yeah, that's a great fight. Yeah, that's where whoever wins that and both undefeated, someone's always got to go.
Yep.
Whoever wins that fight is getting whoever wins that fight is probably 1 fight away at featherweight.
Have you guys seen Bryce Mitchell on Instagram recently?
Well,
I don't follow him, but I know he's.
Why is he still talking crazy about things?
He is full on flat Earth committed, where all of his posts are now about the flat earthing stuff, and he's pissed at Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan on his podcast made some kind of comment, I think like a passing comment, like, oh, he's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And that really enraged him.
Said that about Bryce Mitchell?
Yes, about like him saying the earth is flat and shit. So now all of his posts are like, at Joe Rogan, you loser, why don't you debate me? Like if
nice.
Like, one-on-one debate. If I'm wrong, like I'll shut up. If you're wrong, whatever. And the comments, if you look at the comments, like he has like astrologers being like, hello, I'm from the University of whatever. Like this is actually the reflectional whatever. They're giving him like the true scientific stuff. And he's just responding to him. Yeah, nice try, big NASA. That's everyone. Funny. He's like, nice try.
This is getting more like much more serious, dark. No, I'm pretty sure he might have said Hawani show or someone else's show that like Sandy Hooks were like fake.
Oh yeah,
he's like school shootings.
I mean,
no, he said the Texas one that happened.
Completely, he's out there. I gotta say, is it like maybe destructive talk? People say this. I don't take it so seriously. I look from afar and it makes me laugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
not that
it's
the
just
school
one
shootings.
guy,
you can't talk about that.
One guy
the
saying
flat Earth stuff makes me laugh.
Love Thug Nasty in the cage for the record.
Great fighter.
Honestly, he looked so good against Barbosa.
Yeah, he looked amazing.
I mean, he was beating him on the feet. He knocked him down.
Look at Habib looking over the cage after
the fight.
There was a fight between Abu Bakr and Hamza. Yeah.
How can we do this? But they had to be like, you're fucking one to talk, Mr. Jump over the cage.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe Rogan will accept the debate with Bryce, though. I don't see that happening.
Actually, Lawrence Hackett had a good fight suggestion for Bilal Gilbert.
Yeah, he's not doing anything right now, right?
He's kind of the only other, if they're going to make Hamzat Colby, and then they're going to, obviously, they're doing Usman Edwards.
Did we talk about?
That's the only other guy. They officially gave Bilal the 4 spot, and Gilbert's 5. So that fight actually makes a lot of sense. And then I don't think Gilbert gets title shot if he wins, but if Bilal won, I think he clearly. Actually, the problem is the winner of Hamzat Colby would be next in line. But Well, actually, it depends because like if Usman wins wins that fight, and then if Colby beat Hamzat,
Are they going to do?
I don't think you just do a trilogy. You think they do a trilogy, or you think they would give like say Bilal beat Gilbert? You think they would give?
I think the only way we see Colby.
I know it doesn't sell as well realistically, but
the only way we see Colby and Usman again is if Colby takes a belt from somebody else and then Usman rises again.
The only thing I will say is I think if he beat, which I guess is kind of what I just said, but if he beat Hamzat, that would be pretty like.
Yeah, what are you supposed to do?
What are you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like who else is supposed to fight?
I think then you do it. Yeah. Did we talk any about Costa Whitaker? That got announced, right?
No, yeah, it did
Yeah.
for the Perth card.
Yeah,
that card. If we get obviously like pretty much sounds like we're getting Islam Volkanovski. If we do get Cejudo, Aljo,
it'll be amazing.
That is like Costa Whitaker. I mean, that's a great like 3 fights.
Do they have a venue for that? Because I know, it was. Yeah, you're obviously bringing up one of the bigger draws in the history of the sport, but Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm was Australia, and I think they did like a 90,000 seat like football arena style.
Wasn't that how where they did like they did Adesanya and
I think they did, yeah.
Was that Adesanya Whitaker the first one?
Yep. I think they also did like 80,000, big stadium for that one.
Yep.
So like I think they could do it for this.
I don't see why not.
Volk's huge.
Yeah.
Volk also, when he got in the cage at the end of the night, he looked a little buzzed. He looked like he had been like
he definitely did some
really made me
RAC Arena, Perth. I'll look it up.
Yeah, look at
I feel like that's where that fight, like that last one, the big one was that we were just talking about.
I love that environment for fights.
RAC Arena in Perth is 15,000.
Oh, so it's just a regular arena.
Perth, yep.
Just regular. Any more questions from the chat? We got the room for another 10 minutes.
Yeah. Like
the stream if you haven't already. Any chance Israel gets on that Perth card too?
Well, we'll see.
I think all depends on what happens in the fight in a few weeks.
Which is crazy. It's right around the corner.
I know.
Mali fight week.
I can't wait.
Israel.
I cannot wait.
And then of course, we're only a month away from PFL finals.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think, was there anything else that came out like?
The Risen Bellator cross promotion.
Yep.
Is happening.
Yep.
And they're
New Year's Eve, right?
They said they're putting all their they're already
it's in Tokyo, right?
Like Pitbull's fighting on it. McKee.
I saw McKee's
Archuleta.
on it. Yeah.
I think they did this years ago on
Hiragachi.
with just I think it was
the four of them were on like the poster.
Who did they do it with years ago? Or Gucci
and Marvel Stadium's that's the big stadium in Australia.
Yes.
That's what it is. That's correct.
That's right.
John Jones John Jones late last week, Ariel had the tweet that they're like, it seems as if this is the most real it's been for John since obviously 2020.
What I was reading was that basically they just waiting for Francis.
Did he fight in 2020?
2019.
He
fought in 2020 against Dominic Reyes.
Yeah, Reyes was his last fight.
Early in February. I think it was February 2020.
God,
so it's been like almost
a
3 years.
Lifetime ago.
It feels 2015.
That feels forever ago. I think we watched that one in the Gambling Cave.
I remember I watched it at a friend's house.
I think I watched it in the Gambling Cave. Who does Qatar? Who does fight next? Qatar. Who does Cater fight next if he wins on Saturday?
See, this is such a weird spot because I thought he beat Emmett.
Yeah, so did
Me too.
So I think he got fucked. Like I think he should be like.
Has Emmett had something booked yet?
He hasn't done anything.
No, he hasn't done anything yet.
That's been a while. It's been since May.
Yeah,
May. Yeah.
It was like May 15th or 16th.
Yeah. I thought Cater won the fight.
The only reason I remember is because it was I was in Philadelphia. It was the last weekend of the Premier League, and that's usually the last weekend of Premier League, regardless. Gotcha. Like 15th, 16th.
Also, a little talking soccer. How's Arsenal doing this year? Good, right?
Really good.
Hell yeah. I became an Arsenal fan years ago because of Zaha, and they were horrible for the first 3 years I was a fan.
Yeah. Did you see troops come and attack me?
I did see troops come and attack you. 5-5 Arsenal fan.
Yeah. He came and attacked me. He said, ever since I've come to America, we've been shit, but now Arsenal's back on top, and you have to deal with me. I was like, I've only been I was literally a social guy for 2 years. I was like, bro, brother.
Any other questions? Any final questions?
So I actually like what so Ryan Clues actually had a couple points. If they were healthy by that, if Francis was, that first March pay-per-view could be like Francis John Jones. and then Hamzat awesome. Colby.
Awesome.
That's an insane 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Incredible 1-2 punch.
And then Makayev, he fought well. Obviously, he got the submission. I thought he looked good. after he said he was like Royval, no competition to me. I think Royval
I tweeted, and like I rarely like take like a hard stance like against the fighter, but I was like, this guy's out of his fucking mind.
He's out of
he
his
thinks
mind.
He could face Brandon Royval right now and beat him. Like,
and he
almost
said
lost his.
He made it seem like he was like Royval was like a
Below him.
nobody.
Yeah.
He was like, I mean,
he almost lost. He was a minus 800 favorite.
Yeah,
minus
Like
more than that.
Like
he did not look great.
Now Gordon like took his back.
Yeah,
he like almost rear naked choked them.
Yeah,
and people like clown Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah.
As just being like a you shouldn't.
He was tough though. He,
say, like,
he was like hard to.
He fought very. I was impressed with Gordon.
Yeah.
I agree. Mikhail saying that he was just
minus
right now is crazy.
Even DC during the fight was like, and I think Anik too. He's like, this is probably will be the wake up call for Mikhail.
Which you need.
He said, after,
but it wasn't because after. Oh,
no,
what?
But I could have swore because I actually got to watch the fight too because it was before the show started. I thought he said like I underestimated him. Like I think that won't happen again. Like
And that being said,
which you need that sometimes, right?
And I think he knows the game. He's like, you got to talk shit, but maybe he's like, I have to go back and really work.
I just think he needs to pump the brakes. Like I get it. I love having the lofty goals and all that, but he just has his mindset of being the youngest champion.
Yeah.
And from the Malcolm Gordon fight, I'm just like, I don't think that's gonna happen now.
That's like, it's a great goal, but
just the opportunity.
You should just focus on like being a champion.
Like you haven't beat anyone ranked yet. Like how you're gonna be the champion in a year and a half. Which listen, shit can happen fast. You could be a ranked guy in like 2 months. All of a sudden you're like going. All of a sudden you're at the top. I mean, he hasn't done it yet.
He's beat Durden.
Yeah.
Malcolm Gordon, and then who was the third one that he fought?
It was not the one.
Charles Johnson, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was really making his UFC debut.
Yeah, and he was just like known as a wrestler.
Yeah.
All right, we got the room
Hobbs. I hate up.
For just a couple more minutes, so we're gonna get out of here anyway.
I thought that was actually him.
Thanks for tuning in. Like the stream if you haven't already. We got a bunch of you in here today. Appreciate that, and we'll be back on Thursday with another show. So make sure you follow Spinnin Backfist.
If you missed any of it, this will be on if you just want to listen and audio too. If you need to listen or whatever.
All right, thanks guys.
Cater Allen on Cater Allen breakdown on Thursday.
So that's I haven't looked at it yet. Good card.
Yeah, Allen's actually the favorite.